On Trends today, Ohanaeze Ndigbo extends free Nnamdi Kanu protest to October 25. Lawyer blames Sowore for possible fallout in Nnamdi Kanu's case. NLC gives federal government 4 weeks to resolve ASUU strike. Resident doctors warn FG as 30-day ultimatum nears expiry. And 17-year-old boy arrested for plucking out his 7-year-old sister's eyes. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Trends with LG, where we analyze major stories shaping leadership, justice and economic growth across Nigeria and Africa. I am your host, Omoyeni Ojeifu. Now don't forget you can also be a part of the conversation by following us on all social media platforms on @LJ Nigeria. Joining me is a panel whom I shall be introducing after the break. Stay tuned.
Nigeria is at a turning point. Young people are rising, demanding change. If you believe in justice, strong leadership, and real reform, then it's time to take a stand.
At LJE Nigeria, we're not just observers, we're builders. We're tackling leadership deficits, advocating for justice reforms, and driving economic advancements for all.
As a volunteer, you won't just watch. You will be a part of it. You will gain access to powerful seminars, conferences, and mentorships from professionals who believe in your potential.
No matter who you are, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a professional, or someone who cares, there's a place for you here.
Network with passionate change makers, build skills, and step into leadership.
Join LJE Nigeria today. Let's lead with truth. Let's build with courage. Let's rise for Nigeria. Become an LJE volunteer today and be the change Nigeria needs. Follow all our social media handles for more details.
Welcome back from the break. This is still Trends with LJ, and I have in the studio with me Dr. John Nkamyang, a communications expert. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
And I also have Miriam Gamaliel, a social commentator. You're welcome to the Trends.
Thank you, Mon.
Okay, so let's get right into our first story. According to reports by Sahara reporters, the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization, or Ohanaeze Ndigbo, has announced plans to extend the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest to October 25 and also declared its Operation Occupy Abuja. The group says the protest is aimed at demanding the release of Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of IPOB, and pressing the federal government to address long-standing issues of marginalization, insecurity, and political exclusion in the Southeast. Dr. John, do you think this Ohanaeze's extension of the protest would actually yield results?
I maintain my position, as I've always said, with regards to the subject of Nnamdi Kanu. We cannot deny the fact that he has been held in detention for too long. I mean, 78 years. Anywhere in the civilized world, questions would be asked.
Yeah.
Though we must also put it clearly that he's still in a facing trial in a court of competent jurisdiction, and until that trial is over, we cannot conclude on Nnamdi Kanu's matter. I also make gain to say that he has questions to answer, because the prosecution in his current case have put forward evidence fingering him to some of the security crisis that has bedeviled the Southeast. And when I talking about security crisis, I'm putting it mildly. So on that premise, yes, Nnamdi Kanu still has to be in custody and still has to answer to the allegations that have been put against him. Now, in terms of the protest, as I did say in previous conversations, Nigerians have a right to protest. The Constitution empowers Nigerians freedom of association, freedom to gather, freedom of expression. But we must remember that there are laws determining the extent to which we can exert those freedoms. And so for Ohanaeze Ndigbo to get the entire Igbo, Southeast, to protest for 5 days. Now, the question is, of what results do they hope to achieve? Had they looked at the long-term effects? Because if we are to borrow from what the Southeast has suffered from sit at home on Mondays, now you are asking people to protest till the 25th, 5 days of protest, occupy Abuja. Let's not forget there is a subsisting court order saying you can protest, but there are places in Abuja you can't get to. So again, what will this achieve? I think, I may be wrong. Of course, my Igbo brothers will be quick to, throw all insults at me and call me a Yoruba man, which I am not. My humble and honest opinion is that Ohanaeze Ndigbo should begin to look at more proactive ways. Okay. The Igbo people have lost enough. You are asking them to protest for 5 days. Their businesses will suffer. We all know that the Igbo people are the heartbeat of commerce in Nigeria and across Africa. So asking them to do this, yes, it's some form of sacrifice. It's a show of solidarity. But in the long run, are you going to feed their families? Are you going to pay their school fees? We have to look at the reality. Protest has, in recent times, especially under the current administration, I am sorry to disappoint the Showares and the rest of them. Protest has not yielded any results. And I do not see it yielding any result going forward. So what that means, we need to begin to look at more results-oriented, progressive approaches to demanding such positions as the release of Nnamdi Kanu and better governance, you name it. But protest will not yield the result. We are not Kenya. Neither are we Nepal. That is just the honest truth.
Okay. So, Miriam, as someone from the East, do you agree with what Dr. John has said?
Anyway, Dr. John has said everything. Okay. Because when they started this sit at home, they do every Mondays, you notice that businesses just started going down. And a whole lot of people who have businesses in the East started taking their businesses somewhere else. Yes. So now the East is crumbling. Businesses is going down. Everything. Now you've brought it to Abuja, saying that the people who are now in Abuja should protest for 5 days. For what now? Like he said, okay, these people have business, so they'll close down their shops, close down their businesses and be protesting. Who will feed their families like exactly said? What will happen to them? It is not making, because we know even if you protest from now till the next 100 days, this protest won't yield any fruits. Exactly. It will just be like the normal protest, because we've seen people protest and we've not seen any visible results.
Okay, so thank you. Moving on. A fresh wave of controversy has hit Nigeria's political space after Barrister Darlington Agumo made a bold statement over the ongoing agitation for Nnamdi Kanu's release. In his words, if anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, hold Sowore responsible. Agumo, who's been a vocal commentator on the IPOB case, said this while reacting to Sowore's planned march protest to ASUU. Let's take a look at the video.
No, it has never happened, and it will not happen under Tinubu. That I was telling this man, look, stop this pranks you are playing. It's pranks as far as I'm concerned. Because he knows very well that this protest will not yield any fruit. The effort the Igbos have been making would have been more plausible if it was allowed to sail through. But to Sowore have carried his useful exuberance and rascality to go and spoil our show. Because that's what he's doing now. No government will listen to him with the way he's going about this thing. No government.
Okay, Dr. John, this video is actually in relation to what you just said.
Yes.
What do you make of this?
Okay, let me try to establish the facts. There is some mutual understanding between Omoyele Show and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I think I would be correct to say they are friends. Okay. When Sowore was incarcerated, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu also led a protest for the release of Moyele Sowore. So I think to some level,
Yeah.
This is an issue of my friend's problem is my problem.
Okay.
You know, and Sowore has now decided to be at the forefront of the call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, that aside, I am a conspiracy theory of sorts. I have been involved in conversations that have suggested that even this process is being sponsored by some elements, and Sowore is fronting for those elements. There is a question mark there because past endeavors that Sowore has been involved in have been questioned.
But that's a very strong allegation.
I said there are allegations, yes.
Okay.
I mean, these allegations are results of conspiracies. You understand? And in a world of today, you can't run away from conspiracy theories. You understand? Even the barrister was trying to be very economical in the way he put it by suggesting that Sowore is bringing his youthful exuberance and the manner in which he has gone about it will not make sense for any government to take him serious. Now, all of this fall back to all of these suggested question marks as regards Sowore, you understand? And we must realize that we are in a country where anything is possible. Absolutely anything is possible. On the table, as we speak right now, there are suggestions that there are governors, political elites, and businessmen in the Southeast who would rather have Nnamdi Kanu in bars than released. So there are all kinds of conversations on the table as it relates to Nnamdi Kanu. It does belong, it's just an issue of where you belong.
Exactly.
Or what side you have chosen. For me, I stand with the fact that he has questions to answer by the law. I am not saying that he should remain incarcerated one day longer than he should. And that's why I have said, and I repeat, and I maintain that by the time the trial judge decides to give judgment, he must take into consideration that Nnamdi Kanu has been incarcerated for over 7 to 8 years.
Okay.
And so whatever sentence they're going to give to him, that must be taken into consideration, or else that will be a grave injustice to Nnamdi Kanu.
Okay.
Other than that, we must understand that he must give answers to the questions that the prosecution has put before the trial judge. Other than that, I mean, these conversations, these conspiracy theories will continue to, go on and on.
All right, let's move on to our next story. The NLC has issued a 4-week ultimatum to the federal government demanding an immediate resolution of the long-standing issues with ASUU. The labor union says if the federal government fails to act within the stipulated time, it will mobilize workers across all sectors for a nationwide protest in solidarity with ASUU. Let's take a look at the video.
After 4 weeks, the NLC organs will meet and present to the organs the situation. If that's the route they decide to tow, we tow that route. The law even says 2 weeks, for an ultimatum. And in most instances, in this country or any other country in the world, you can have what we call white card industrial action. Like this one now, there is out of provocation. We may decide for either for or not any notice for action. But we have looked at it, the practicability of it, and say within 4 weeks, it's like this one is finishing now, and you still have another 4 weeks. If you come to negotiation with utmost good faith, that negotiation can finish in 1 day.
Miriam, this question is actually for you. What does the future hold for Nigerian students if our education continues to be caught in this endless tug of war that's between the ASUU and the federal government?
You see, many times when people say parents don't want to send their children outside the country to study, it's because of cases like this.
Yeah.
You see somebody who is supposed to spend 5 years in school, the person is there because of ASUU strike. 7 years, 8 years. I know some people spend that amount of years in school because they're having them carryovers or WAF or stuff like that, like they're repeating classes. But when you're being put on standstill by your country just because of something that could actually be resolved. It's not making sense. My parents say they want to take, okay, tomorrow now we'll say, why is everybody traveling now? Why is everybody? Okay, if you're in the country, you want to go to school, how are you supposed to go to school in this situation?
Yeah.
I have a little younger one back at home. She's supposed to have resumed school, but no way. School is on strike. She's in the house.
Yeah.
I've just had to look for something and be learning.
Exactly.
Instead of just sitting, because you see at times now, these children will lose interest for the school. They'll not enter, okay, you know that Nigerians are bad. Nigerians don't know what they are doing. Nigerians don't like school. But it is our government that is putting us on standstill. We are not going, and again, they are going on strike. They've been going on strike. What are the strike brought out?
Exactly.
So why the reoccurring strikes when you know that nothing is going to come? Why not look for another solution to fight these people? Because now the government are not the ones suffering it. It's the students that are actually suffering, and not the government.
Oh, boy.
Okay. And to our next story, something similar. With just 6 days left before its 30-day ultimatum to the federal government, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has raised an alarm over what it calls 19 unresolved welfare and administrative issues affecting its members nationwide. In a communique released after its annual general meeting, NARD said resident doctors in Nigeria are being maltreated. The doctors are now warning that if the federal government fails to address these concerns, they may be left with no choice but to resume industrial strike. Dr. John, this is the question. How many more strikes would it take before the health sector, the education sector, and every other sector will get attention in this country?
I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but we must admit the truth as it's the reality as it is. Let me start with the part of government. Government has failed. They failed education. They failed in ensuring that Nigerians have access to proper health care. Let's not forget, these are fundamental things that every human being, every Nigerian is entitled to. Education, healthcare, shelter, good roads. So, government has failed. Bayo Nanuga, you can come out and give your statement and defend as much as you can, but in 2 years of the Tinubu's administration, we've seen more protests, more strikes than we've seen in the entire history of Nigeria, whichever way you choose to look at it. So that's on the part of government. Now, let me come to NAD and by extension, the NLC. I have said, and I will continue to say, you are free to disagree with me, but strikes will not yield the results. No, I'm sorry. First of all, you have a government that doesn't care.
Yeah.
They think it's a game of chess, or will I say a game of Ayo. They are playing with you guys, bring you to the negotiations table. Then they look for the weakest part of the chain and then pay those ones. Those ones now come back and form parallel fraction and create internal crisis. And that is why no union has been able to truly make the impact that is supposed to, because let me tell you the truth. Everybody has a price. Everybody can be bought. So unionism no longer packs the power it used to pack back in the day. Now it's about money. In the words of my former governor, now Senate President, if money cannot solve it, more money solve it. That is the mantra of the political elites and the government under which we find ourselves. So I will always say this: superior thinking, superior critical thinking, and superior argument. And then not just argument for argumentation's sake, but argument that prefers workable, practicable, progressive solution. Meaning, if government brings a policy, you bring a solution that will either make that policy obviously useless, or a solution that will make the implementation of that policy expressly felt by every Nigerian. So this idea of strike today, strike tomorrow. I mean, ASUU is a clear example. This is their 18th strike since 1999. And check, go through history. They are striking for the same reasons. I go back to that statement. Only a challenged person would do the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. That's my
Thank you very
summary.
much. And to our final story, this is a story that has left Nigerians in shock. A 17-year-old boy in Plateau State has been arrested for plucking out the eyes of his 7-year-old sister in what police say was a ritual-related case. The suspect allegedly lured his younger sister into a nearby bush where he carried out the gruesome acts. Miriam, in 30 seconds, please, can you just react to this issue?
Omon, it is really sad to see the lengths
I know
teenagers, young boys, young girls are going to make money. I don't know if it's the excessive flaunting of money or wealth on social media that is causing all these things. Because what will give a teenager, he's still a child, if you say police should arrest him, how are they going to, if you bring a judge, how will the judge judge him? He's still a child. He still needs this guidance, this direction. What will give him that mind to pluck out his blood? Not even someone else.
Situation.
It's really pathetic.
Very pathetic.
Really.
And that's where we wrap up today's edition of Friends with LJ. Thank you to our panelists for being a part of the program. And to you, our viewers, for joining us. Don't forget to follow us online at LJ Nigeria across all platforms. My name is Omoyeni Ojeifo.